series deciders for India has been a telling tale, and once again they proved that when it mattered, yes, 1-1, it was a good comeback by the West Indies in the second game, but again the decider proved decisive for India. Have a look at that one at the bottom. That's where we finished in Mumbai. But in bilateral T20I series deciders, third match, just look down there. Just the one loss that you're talking about to New Zealand, and that was it.
Yeah, in New Zealand as well. So that loss is away, you can understand that. A drawn series in Australia, that was the rained out game, wasn't it? There was a rained out game in that series, I think, and then they, in Melbourne, and then they won in Sydney. With a brilliant performance in Sydney. I think Kohli had a very fine innings in that game as well. So, it's brilliant. It's a quality performances since 2016. There's no other team in the world. I mean, I know Pakistan went through that period of winning 2020 series time and time again. I think they won 11 in a row, didn't they? But they've started to go on the downslide since then.
And it's very interesting because you look at the Indian teams of the 80s and 90s. I mean, I remember at least 4 finals in Sharjah in a row where we reached the finals and we couldn't sort of complete or finish. I think that's something that this team, you look at this Indian team, they've set a lot of myths to rest. India doesn't produce fast bowlers. Yeah. India doesn't finish deciders.
India doesn't set good totals.
India doesn't set good totals. Indian are not as fit as the other guys. All these myths have been, this team has done so much for Indian cricket. And okay, they're standing on the shoulders of giants, Saurav, Dhoni, all these guys have set it up, Sachin. But this team is something quite else. I mean, if they could go down as one of the greatest sets of people to
But IPL has a massive part to play in that, because no longer are these guys worried about international cricket. They're playing in front of 40, 50, 60, sometimes 80,000 time and time again in Kolkata. Mumbai, they're playing in front of these huge crowds. The pressure of an IPL game is equivalent to pressure of an international game now. Yes, you've got a different coloured shirt on, you've got an Indian shirt on, but these young guys coming through, and I mean, I know Kohli's not young, Rohit's not young, but the young guys coming through, I won't say they don't know what pressure is, but they handle it so much better because day in, day out during an IPL, they are exposed to it. Day in, day out, they're playing international quality opposition in the IPL, and that is what has helped the rise of Indian cricket tenfold. Sitting alongside some of the great players, some of the great coaches, some of the great minds of world cricket, they get to talk it and live it for 8 weeks every year. And so international stuff is so much closer to that IPL level that the jump is not as massive, so it doesn't feel as hard.
And I'd like to add one more bit to it. Even the little step before the IPL, for example, with someone like Shivam Dube, he's already been under the spotlight at, say, the Mumbai T20, which may not be such big crowds, but it's live on television, it's played at the same big stadiums, so already that one rung before the IPL is already a step to the IPL.
Well, Washington Sundar, didn't he? Came through the Karnataka League, or the TNPL, the Tamil Nadu Premier League. There's all of these leagues going around the country now that are just starting to be that next step, and then there's this step. And if all of these steps are only that big, it gives you very little chance to trip up. And that's the key.
I remember this case in 99-2000, we had the series. And the first ODI series, India was playing at Perth, the first ODI of the match. MSK Prasad was the keeper for the test, and he goes back and Samit Dike comes in. And can you imagine, he lands in Australia, he's playing Perth. Brett Lee is coming at him for the first time, and he was shell-shocked. He said, the last thing was a week before I was playing Jatin Paranjape, who's gentle medium pace at best in the Mumbai Nets. The next time I'm playing Brett Lee at Perth. So the difference between domestic cricket and what they faced in international cricket was so high that it used to be a huge and rude shock. That's over. Those days are over now. Nowadays, Brett Lee could be bowling at you in the nets when you're 17 years old and you're the next great player.
Or sharing a dressing room with him.
I'm just going to go off on a tangent here because 2 names you just mentioned there are amazing. I got my schooling in cricket in the Bradford League. And I managed to play at the same club for a few years, and they gave me a benefit type encounter where we had an overseas 11 against a Bradford League 11. Those 2 men came and played in my team along with VVS Lakshman.
Okay.
So I had Samit Dike, Jatin Paranjape, VVS Lakshman.
Wow.
Yeah, who all played in and around the Bradford League at the time. Chris Harris came across. It was brilliant. We had an amazing, and those guys, and Jatin now we remain friends to this day. Still talk, touch base on Messenger.
He has a bit to say about all this.
He does.
he's been the selector who's chosen so many of
Yeah,
these sides.
exactly.
As has MSK.
As has MSK.
MSK Prasad the same, and I mean these guys now watch so much domestic cricket, don't they? But yeah, sorry to digress, but
No, it's never a digression.
Those
Cricket.
those names crop up, and you know, I remember those days in the Bradford League, and we were all very young, and a lot of years have passed, but still keep in touch with those guys, and it's
Wasn't
wonderful.
that long ago, Doull.
No.
Just being a little generous there.